value from success, growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association in BC. His website, icba.ca. Welcome back to the show, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Jordan, in terms of jobs being created in BC, you went to one of the major sites to take a tour. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we were lucky enough at ICBA. We were given a look at the work going on by Kiewit Ledcor at the port that will serve the Trans Mountain Pipeline terminus. So this is on the Burrard Inlet side of Burnaby Mountain, and includes some work being done to refurbish actually two huge tankers that are there right now, a tank on the ground tank farm that holds aviation fuel, and they're upgrading those, and now there's a pipeline that takes that to YVR that's under construction. And then they're building, essentially three huge berths that could serve up to three tankers at a time for fuel. And the Trans Mountain Pipeline will go to Burnaby Mountain on the kind of the freeway side. They'll do some work on the bitumen there and whatnot, and then it'll go through a pipe being built through the mountain itself, actually through three pipes being built through the mountain itself, and then come out the other side at the port. And really an incredible project on a few different levels. First of all, it's on the side of a mountain, so you have a bunch of shoring that has to be done, shotcrete, trying to keep everything safe and secure. And then, they're building the actual port itself in the inlet, and that, again, is a major construction project. So you kind of have three major projects happening at once. You have the pipeline through the mountain, you have the, onshore upgrades, and then you have the on-the-water upgrades. And they've brought in huge cranes, 5 or 6 of them, that are on the water, helping them build these different berths for these tankers and whatnot. And yeah, really incredible. In fact, I think it's now the second largest crane in the Northern Hemisphere is at work out on the water there. Really a phenomenal project and being done very carefully, very safely, not just from the usual health and safety, but also because of the COVID pandemic. And right on schedule, and a few hundred people there working every day.
When it comes to construction work in BC, how healthy has it been? How safe?
It's been very safe and very healthy. So there's been only one case traced by WorkSafe BC to have anything to do with the construction industry, to construction sites. There have been some workers who have contracted COVID because of family connections or other connections, but they've not brought it to the site. And if anyone has had it on site, it has not spread because folks are washing their hands, masking up, staying 6 feet apart, all those things that we've put in place to make sure that people are safe. So yeah, to think that construction never stopped. It ran through the entire pandemic. We're now 6 months into this thing, and only one case traced to a construction site. And even that, it was more of a presumption than any actual evidence that it was contracted on construction site. So very interesting to see how well this is working. And frankly, I think it's given the government and Dr. Henry's office a lot of confidence that, yeah, you can do a lot of these activities safely, that, the things you put into place around 6 feet and masking up does work. And it's allowed, it served as a template for other industries to reopen.
Is it also because most of the construction takes place outdoors or the walls aren't on the building, that kind of thing? Yeah,
that's definitely a huge help. So, you're outside a lot more. And when you're indoors, most of these places do have masking up rules. And they're being checked every day. Like, you show up, you're asked about symptoms. Most of the work sites we visited this summer, I think we've is at 15 or 16 now this summer. Most of them are taking temperatures daily, even among visitors. They're doing everything they can to keep people safe and healthy. Because look, COVID is obviously a health threat to your workers. It's also an existential threat to your company and your industry. If construction doesn't take this seriously, if a construction company doesn't do this safely, they're going to lose their workers either to illness, or the workers will just leave and go somewhere that is operating safely. People aren't going to stand for half measures when it comes to protecting themselves against COVID. They want to see, smart plans, careful screening, and then the rules in place and empowering people to follow those rules. And construction has done that. And, we've seen very good, the proof is in the numbers. One case traced anywhere near a construction site. That's pretty remarkable when you consider 250,000 British Columbians working construction every day.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Bateman Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Bateman's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at batemanresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, a new leader for the Conservative Party of Canada. Is that good for business? And what do we know about Aaron O'Toole? To many people, he's an unknown face.
He is unknown. I've done some scrutiny of this. I'm a Conservative Party member, so I was one of the people who cast a ballot. And I can tell you, Jim, I actually did cast a ballot for Aaron O'Toole. Came into the race with an open mind. To me, it came down to Mr. O'Toole and Dr. Leslyn Lewis. I went with Aaron O'Toole as my first choice. Because I just felt like he was a little bit more ready to take on Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government on day one. But really interesting background. Here's a guy who served in the Canadian Forces, was a Minister of Veteran Affairs in the Stephen Harper government. Not a overwhelmingly high-profile person. Funnily enough, for those old-timers like me now, he followed Bev Oda. He's in Bev Oda's old riding, so. I think he probably has a good understanding of what, fiscal restraint means after seeing what happened to her career over $16 worth of orange juice. He's a lawyer. He was part of that big Heenan Blakey firm. Just a really smart guy. I think, the CPC membership were disappointed in Andrew Scheer. They didn't feel like they felt like he was too nice. They didn't feel like he was a fighter for the cause. I think they wanted someone who would be a little bit scrappier, and that's certainly Aaron O'Toole. So I actually think it's okay that the public don't know him very well. I think Peter MacKay might be better known to the general public, but he comes with a heck of a lot of baggage because of that. Here's someone who, he was a minister under Harper, but you don't really connect him to Stephen Harper in your mind. You don't really know much about him. So there's a lot there that. There's a lot of open space for him to define himself. I think the next 6 weeks will be important as he tries to lay out both a critique of the Trudeau government and a positive vision for the country. But I think the opportunity is there, and I think he's going to be a good choice for business. Definitely a smart guy. Understands the importance of free enterprise. Wants to reduce red tape and regulation, does not want to tax the heck out of investment or investors or people who are working. So, there's a lot of signals there that he gets. He understands the Canadian working class certainly in a better way than Mr. Trudeau does. And we'll wait and see what he rolls out. He's opposed to a carbon tax, a national carbon tax, but I do think there's space. He has talked about climate change, wanting to have a robust plan to battle it. I think that's important. But I think he's subscribes much more to, the polluter paying model rather than actually docking the average Canadian who's already struggling to get by.
One of the things the Canadian Taxpayers Federation has brought up, the Trudeau government keeps floating this idea of taxing the sale of one's principal residence. Well, in the U.S., you do get taxed, but you also get to write off things like your mortgage interest and repairs and updates to your homes if you're going to treat it as a capital investment. Does that kind of threaten Canadians, too, the security in their own home?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's one thing to get taxed on investment that does well, but a principal residence isn't an investment. Like, I don't think of, the home I live in with my family as, principally an investment. I think of it as our home. And, we're there for the long term now. I'm sure the price will go up in years to come. Most housing does. But, again, it's not an investment. I'm not in there to make money. So to tax the sale of principal homes, even further, let's bear in mind, we already tax them with property transfer taxes. If you buy a new home, there's GST. You already get taxed for these kind of things. To add another tax, simply because you sell your home and, maybe you sell for $100,000 more than you bought it for, that is really egregious. Kudos to my old organization, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, for not letting this one go, for standing up to the tax everything bullies and saying, no, there's no economic case for this. It's just a tax grab, and it's being perpetuated by, frankly, government-funded professors like Paul Kershaw, who sit in their ivory towers. And, so it's hard for me to have much. It's hard for me to really get on board with the idea that these professors, know what's best for the working class Joe. Like it doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. And yeah, it's such a blatant tax grab. There's no reason for it. There's no economic background for it. It's just, how can we extract more money from people? And that makes the worst kind of tax policy.
Now, when it comes to housing, how do housing starts look for British Columbia in the coming year?
Well, they're going to be down. So, the thing we're looking at is, think of 2019 now as a high watermark for new housing starts for construction in general in British Columbia. 2019 will be the year to beat going forward. We thought it was going to be 2020. 2020 started lights out, and then COVID came along, and everything has kind of slowed down. Not huge, but 15 to 20%. We think it'll take 3, maybe 5 years to get back to the 2019 housing start levels. So I think, off the top of my head, it was around 40,000 housing starts in 2019 in British Columbia. I think they're expecting more like 30,000. People stop and say, well, 30,000, that's still a lot of work, a lot of housing starts. Yeah, I guess. It's still a 25% reduction from 2019 at a time where, I was reading the Century 21 report today, 6 of the 10 most expensive neighborhoods in Canada to buy housing are in Vancouver or on the North Shore. 6 out of 10. And remember, this is a country with Montreal and Toronto and other expensive places as well. We need more supply. And it's the most expensive, 6 out of 10 are the most expensive right now, at a time where we've ratcheted foreign investment way down. There's this instinct to blame Chinese buyers or foreign buyers. They're being taxed like crazy. They're being regulated out of the system. And they've been being pandemicked out of the system. Like, not a lot of Chinese folks coming here to buy property right now, right? Like, you're not allowed to travel. So, this idea that it's all foreign buyers driving this cost is being proven false. No doubt they're an influence, but they're not the most significant influence. The most significant influence comes down to economics 101. There's more demand for housing product than there is supply. And when there's more demand than there is supply, prices go up.
Is that a policy that has to change? Do we have to take away those foreign buyer taxes, empty home taxes, and so on?
Well, I think we need to build more housing. I think it's the other side. We've got to build more supply. Like, cities should be going full tilt right now and saying any project that comes in that meets our standards, quick approvals, let's get these jobs going and out there, and let's get housing happening. Instead, more red tape, slower than ever permits, nervous Nellies on council because, 3 NIMBYs show up. It's not great. And, for too long, councils have given into this there's two kind of camps, NIMBY, which is not in my backyard, and Bananas, build absolutely nothing anywhere near anyone people. Those kind of, we have to reject those narrow views, and we have to start building building more housing, getting more through the system quicker, and getting these jobs happening and these homes open for people. But that takes political courage, and I'm not sure that's in great supply among municipal politicians.
Could you rate some of the city councils around the Lower Mainland on who's pro getting business up and going again and who's standing in the way?
Yeah, I've been impressed with Delta, especially on the commercial business side. POCO has been good with the commercial businesses. On the housing side, Vancouver is slow. Surrey's still faster than most, but has slowed down from where their speed was at. Langley City is small, but if you walk in the door with a good project, you can walk out with a permit usually within a couple of weeks. Like there isn't a lot of space there, but they're more than willing to get housing going. So there are some places where this is okay, but far too few. And I always go back to kind of default to municipal government. They're not perfect, and this is not a perfect mayor, but Stu Young and what he's done in Langford on Vancouver Island, compared to what's happened in Saanich or in Lisa Helps Victoria, or in all the surrounding kind of areas, he's really done a remarkable job, and he's done it by trying to attract investment in housing, trying to attract residents to his community, and then getting government out of the way of those projects, approve them, make sure they're safe and functional and, benefit the community and the future homeowners, and then get out of the way, and get out of the way quick. And that, unfortunately, has not been the motto of many mayors across the region.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, a report came out saying out of all the provinces, BC is expected to recover the best over the next year, but is it that bright a picture still?
Yeah, what's the old saying? In the world of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So yes, okay, British Columbia is positioned, I guess, better than most to recover from this economic downturn. Certainly better than Alberta, which is reeling not just from COVID, but from foreign interference opposing their investment in oil and gas. But this is still not a stellar record, right? There's still more that can be done, and it can be better. It could be quicker. Ask the people in tourism and hospitality if they feel particularly safe or optimistic about the future when it comes to this John Horgan government. They don't. They're reeling. Ask the people in oil and gas if they feel very confident. They don't. Ask the people in mining if they feel really confident that John Horgan's got their back. No, they don't. Ask small business if they feel like John Horgan's got their back. Actually, walk through your local downtown and look at all the empty storefronts. Walk through your local shopping mall. Look at the empty storefronts. Ask those folks, do you feel confident that the NDP have your back in this? No, they don't. So, yes, we may recover quicker than some other places, but I think there's a lot being left on the table. I don't think government's done nearly enough. And, I think John Horgan's played political games with a lot of people's livelihoods.
What kind of things would you like to see the government be doing to help small business, which is the job backbone of Canada?
Well, they got to do something in tourism and hospitality. The tourism industry asked for about $680 million worth of help. If you're not going to do $680 million, I can understand that's a lot of money, but they need something. They need some help. Government, for public health reasons, has basically, killed the tourism industry in British Columbia. Okay, there is, though, a moral impetus then to try to help those folks either carry on until the borders reopen and people travel again, or to help them find other uses for their property and their investments. They're neglecting that. There's a lot of talk, in the last legislative session. John Horgan's got a $1.5 billion worth of money set aside for economic recovery. Well, that money's been set aside since April, May. Spend it. What are you waiting for? We keep waiting for this vaunted economic recovery plan from the NDP government, and there is none. There is no plan. The things that have helped the most are things that the BC Liberal opposition recommended, and the business community kind of shamed the NDP into doing. So there's a lot of space there. I do think that Horgan's falling a little bit into the trap that Justin Trudeau's falling into, which is, things are so bad that this is my chance to remake the economy and legacy and blah, blah, blah. No one cares about your legacy. No one cares about your ideology as far as rebuilding the economy. We just want jobs. We want investment. We want to support the industries we know can get us back on track quickly.
The Resource Works Society came out with an extensive report, Real Jobs, Real Recovery. Are some of their ideas really good? Because one of the things Canada has beyond any other nation on earth except perhaps Russia is natural resources, and that's where our recovery should start.
Yeah, the report's called Real Jobs, Real Recovery. I think it's real good, but I'm afraid it's going to collect real dust on the shelf of some government somewhere, because you have ideological governments who are trying to remake the world instead of actually getting people working. It's oil and gas. Canadian energy is such an important part of the Canadian economy. We started this conversation talking about the Trans Mountain Pipeline. The funny thing is, the reason why, BC will outperform some of these other jurisdictions is because we have maybe four mega projects going at once. We have the historic LNG Canada plant being built in Kitimat. It's $40 billion of investment over a period of years. We have the Coastal GasLink pipeline, which will feed that plant from basically just outside Fort St. John all the way to Kitimat across British Columbia. It's 700 kilometers worth of pipeline. That's a $7.5 billion project. We have the Trans Mountain Pipeline. That's about a $10 million project. And then we have the Site C Dam, which is turning into a $10 or $11 billion project in Fort St. John. So energy projects are the things that are buffering us and leading the Conference Board of Canada to say, yeah, BC can recover quickly. Great. So why are they so opposed to energy projects? Site C is a project the NDP tried to kill and then brought out of mothballs, and the Green Party still wants to kill. Trans Mountain is a project that they went to court. The NDP and Greens went to court with taxpayer money over and over and over and over again to try to stop. LNG Canada was a project the Green Party called unicorns and fairy dust and not real. And it was only until, BC Liberals basically drove the project to the 1 yard line, and, even John Horgan couldn't fumble it falling into the end zone. These are huge projects that were opposed by, the people in charge now of deciding what the economic recovery is. So kudos to Stuart Muir and the Resource Works Society for working up that plan. I hope it gets more attention and real thought from the Krista Freelands and Carol Jameses of the world. But I'm highly skeptical it will, because those folks and John Horgan and Justin Trudeau are more bent on, remaking the economy in a green way than they are, actually, sparking an economic recovery as quickly as possible.
How much does a worker on an organic blueberry farm make versus somebody who drives one of those giant oil sand moving trucks?
Sorry, say that again.
How much does a person who works on an organic blueberry farm make a year, and how much does somebody typically in mining or in natural resource development, natural gas, make a year?
Yeah, I would probably say the truck driver makes a lot more. And look, there's a place for agriculture as well, and no doubt about that. But we gotta get people to work, and these projects create hundreds and then thousands of jobs on some of the larger ones at a time where we desperately need it. And if you think about construction, 250,000 British Columbians worked in construction before the COVID lockdown. We think maybe 10% have been lost in the last few months. So maybe 225,000 work there now. Well, we need projects for them, and they're running out of, they're They're burning through their order books. Governments are not approving other projects, and private investment has slowed because private investors are trying to figure out what the heck is going to happen. We've got to make sure that those folks keep working and that we are finding ways to add jobs in construction, in oil and gas, in all of the corollary industries that support it. Very important that we get that going sooner than later, and it's going to take actual, it's going to take actual signals from governments to do it.
Do you think the SERB might be used as a way to get people used to not working? Because I'm still hearing from restaurant and pub owners especially that they can't get their old staff back. They have a bunch of rookies running around there, and of course that's confusion on the kitchen floor and so on, and customers worried about poor service. Is there a way to make sure that people are covered in this crisis, yet a way to make sure that if they're offered their old job back, they go back to it?
Yeah, the SERB is a bit of an issue. So it ends, I think, October 3rd is the last day of the SERB. Look, it's not just restaurants. Construction is having problems finding laborers. There are jobs that are left unfilled. And I think we talked about this last month. If you're out there and you're on SERB, this is coming to an end. You need to get back in the workforce now. ICBA.ca/jobs, we can match you with construction companies today, and get you working by Monday. There's opportunities out there. The problem is they're going to evaporate quickly because, folks on SERB, are going to start moving off in September and suddenly realize, darn, I'm not going to get this free money anymore. I better get back in the workforce. Frankly, I'm of two minds. I think if you've been sitting at home collecting the SERB when there's been an opportunity put out to you by your employer, I don't think you should have your spot saved by the employer. I don't think the employer owes you anything if they've been trying to call you back and you've just refused. But, that again is up to government as to, what kind of protections they want to extend there. But for those who want to work, now is the time. Get off SERB, get into the workforce now, because there's going to be a first mover advantage here.
Jordan, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks for having me.
My guest has been Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association. His website, icba.ca. If you have any questions for Jordan or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter at Talk Digital Net. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of Howe Street Media Incorporated.